What's going on, everybody? How we doing this evening? It's your boy, the Big Ragu, on a Thursday.
Big Ragu, they couldn't be here, man. They couldn't be here. You guys been talking shit in the comments the last couple of days. I mean, I hope my stuff is on right now. Y'all been talking crap in the comments.
What's going on, everybody? It's Big Ragu. That's right. I'm by myself tonight for a little while. Just me and the big man. Big man will be with me in a few minutes. Same time, I just want to welcome everybody in. Hopefully you're having a wonderful Christmas week. I know I did. My daughter came and visited with me. My son came down. So it's been a heck of a week. A lot of football, a lot of food, a lot of good times. They see my daughter. She's got a little cameo in the background there. You peek in and say hello, Danielle. Just wave to everybody. Say what's going on. You see what she's wearing, right? Sport that Boston and Sauce shirt. That's right. At the same time, everything else is going on. So I see Wham, but Wham, where are you, my man? Yeah, I see him. Anyways. Hey, so we got Nasty Nate is in the chat. Nasty, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up in the chat, my man, because I'm trying to figure this thing out. It's my first time going solo to try to get this thing put together. But anyways, we're going to talk about a few things before my guy gets in with us. So Nasty, you give me a thumbs up, make sure I can see you in the chat. See what's going on. Same time. All right, so let's talk about let me see, let me get rid of this right here. No. All right, Hustle Wilson's in there. I see Hustle. What's going on, Hustle? How you doing tonight, my man? Good deal, good deal. Teddy B's in the house. That a boy, Teddy. All right, so listen, let me tell you what happened to me today. So obviously you guys know that we're doing a lot of these college football videos for SBR. And naturally we record these videos prior to the games, sometimes days, multiple days in advance, 3, 4, 5 days in advance. So anyways, situation happened to me today in the Miami game with the La Tech. So originally I liked the Miami side. I just figured Miami played a little bit of a tougher schedule. And La Tech, played weaker, but Skip Holtz has done a nice job with that program. They had a 9-win season. They're going for their first 10 wins. And this team has been to 5 bowl games and won them all. So not saying nothing that, against Miami, but I kind of liked Miami originally when I broke the game down. But an interesting thing happened today. Miami, they kind of parted ways with Dan Enos, their offensive coordinator, about an hour before the game. So this tells me a couple of things that happened here. Number one, they had some differences on philosophies and whatnot going into this game, and the coach resigned, or this was going to be his last game. He still was on the field, but this was going to be it for him. I guess if you looked at the very beginning of the game, you see Miami started a kid that started the first game against Florida. I think he ran like 2 plays in that game. He didn't start that game, but anyways, they went with that look for this particular game. So I gave out the side on Miami minus the 6 originally, but in my tweet today, I put out there like La Tech, plus the 7 points. And I caught a little bit of flack for that because on my video, I gave out Miami. But my point is this. When we give out information, and us as handicappers and bettors, we know that game time information is crucial for us to make our decision. That's why you really never want to pull the trigger too early in certain cases, but at the same time, if you have to make an adjustment to get out of something or, double up or whatever that case may be, information is crucial in this business. So we always keep transparency number one. That's what we do as cappers. So, and in the tweet I just put out the little article, like an hour before. When I put my tweet out, I showed that the article came out an hour before the game. So anyways, I was on La Tech tonight, and a lot of guys were on the under too. So that cashed easy, and I took the plus 7. So that was my play tonight. But, we've got a lot of games to talk about. I know Boss is going to be coming on with me probably about 5-10 minutes. And we're going to be looking at, the big games coming up this weekend. and then some of the playoff pictures for the NFL. And speaking of the NFL, we got Marshawn Lynch made a comeback for Seattle. So in reality, what do you think? How effective is Marshawn Lynch going to be coming back with Seattle in this role here? Now, obviously, you guys don't believe that he's going to be a starting running back. I know they're banged up and they have issues in the running back position, but I think more or less with his case, it's primarily just a little bit of insurance, because there's no way in the world you can tell me that this guy, when he left the Raiders, I think in 9 games he had like a total 80 yards rushing. So even on his way out, usually he didn't go out on the top of his game, but he was still in pretty good physical condition. But I just think his drive, I just think his motivation for playing the game wasn't there. I know he has a great relationship with Pete Carroll, and I think that's that's definitely gonna give him a little bit of insurance going into the playoffs. And there's some big games coming up this weekend, and DJ and I talk on those also. But we have so much college football coming up in these next few days. I mean, I'm an old school guy. Like when I do my work, I do it on paper. I do computer work too, but like I've got like two handfuls of sheets here based on these games that are coming up this weekend. And if you guys are going to get involved with every game, I don't get involved with every game, but I do watch them all, but I don't play them all. But for the most part, like a couple games that I have some interest in right now is this Texas A&M game coming up. That's tomorrow at noon. That's an early kickoff. And to me, that's probably going to be the most entertaining game of the day, I would think. You have A&M, an SEC squad, versus the Big 12 Oak State. Now, Oak State, they had some injuries. They lost their star wide receiver. Like early in the season, between Chuba Hubbard and the wide receiver, they had the top 2 offensive players in the nation. Chuba Hubbard went on to have a real successful season, probably the top rusher in the nation. Then they're going to get the quarterback back in this one here. He's supposed to start, so things are looking up for Oak State in this particular game here. And Kelly Mond, for what they did with A&M, took their road games, took their lumps on the road. They played all the top. They have 5 losses, but all their 5 losses are to the top tier teams in the SEC. You got Alabama, LSU. They took Clemson on the road. They went to Clemson and played them early in the season, lost there. So all their teams are Georgia. So they took some really tough losses here. But their knock on A&M is basically, the defense plays mediocre. Offensively, they had a lot of ups and downs. Now Oak State, they don't play a whole lot of defense on their side, but they can score, and they run that kind of an up tempo. I wouldn't say a high up tempo offense, but they run a pretty efficient offense. So, what are you guys looks in that game? I'm really curious there, because the way I capped that game out is I'm looking at they got A&M. A&M is a touchdown favorite basically, and Oak State, they're getting the touchdown. I think they keep it closer than that. I think Oak State's it might be a good money line sprinkle play here in my book. I like Oak State here. I think they're going to be points. I think the over might come into play in this game, even though, like I say, Kelly Mond has had his struggles on the road, and it's the Texas Bowl, and Texas should travel well, and Oklahoma State's going to have their fans there, so it's going to be a pretty ruckus crowd. It's going to be a loud game, and I think both teams are going to give up some points here too. So I would even maybe look at possibly the 54. It might be in play in this game. That might be a good look there also. Now, the next game up is this Temple. Temple's 8-0 when they generate more than 300 yards in offense. Now, Temple, their look is, they've been kind of an up and down team, just like the game tonight, Pittsburgh. Like Pittsburgh, they're trying to crawl back into this game. They went down 10-0 early against Eastern Michigan. that was a contest play for me. I took Pittsburgh minus like 10, 10.5, whatever it was in the contest. But Eastern Michigan came out swinging, and Pittsburgh is notorious a slow team. You know, they play up in that same conference with Temple, that same area too. And a lot of these kids played high school together up that way. But they've got a lot of good linebackers up at Temple, and that's going to be a real interesting look. But this game tonight, if you're involved in it with the Pitt Eastern Michigan, Pitt is a second half, a third quarter team. So I was kind of hoping they wouldn't score so many points early because I was trying to get some value on them coming back in the second half. But right now it's tied 10-10. They got about 11 minutes to go, so there's a lot of football left in that game. And the way they're playing it, you might catch an overplay for the second half also. So, anyways, keep an eye on that game. But anyways, getting back to this Temple game, right? Let's check the number out here. Let's look at the current number on this game here. Let's see, where is it?
Hey. Can y'all hear me over here?
Hold on. Hey, I was going to ask you something.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Let me see what's going on right here. What's up, Big Ragu? I see that people can hear me, but I can't hear myself, nor can I hear you.
Okay,
let me
check
see
back in.
What's going on over here?
Hey, I'll wait till you click back in. I was going to ask you something.
There we go. What's up, Big Ragu?
How about it? Can you hear now?
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Hey, I was going to ask you something real quick. When I logged on to the channel tonight, I seen Wham came on the Who-Bangin channel, and I was on the screen here. So is he live on another channel?
Yeah, you went into the wrong broadcast. You went in the broadcast for Friday. He in the broadcast for Thursday. So we got two going on right now.
Oh wow!
But I was checking in with you before I go tell Wham, hop in the other chat and tell Wham that you over here because you got quite a few viewers right here too.
Okay.
And I'm gonna hop out for a second. I'm gonna hop back in.
All right, I'm gonna jump back on this Temple game. You come right back in.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll see y'all in a minute.
All right. Anyways, listen, guys. So we're talking about Temple, and they got North Carolina. North Carolina, Sam Howell, he's a pretty good quarterback. Now, North Carolina, early in the season, they opened up a lot of eyes with some close wins and some last-minute, heroics by this kid. And they kind of faded off into obscurity, during the middle part to the latter part of the season. Temple, like I said, they're a pretty unpredictable team in a lot of ways. They came out on the plus side. I've used Temple a few times in certain spots and done pretty well with them. By the way, Eastern Michigan just scored again, so we got a shootout at the OK Corral in that game. It's now 17 or 16-10 with the extra point pending. So I hope it stays that way till the half. But anyways, Temple. I like this Temple team a lot. They play good secondary. They excellent middle linebacker play. I don't think the way Carolina is built, they're not a strong downfield type of play. How I wouldn't call him a game manager because he's probably going to be one of the better quarterbacks next year if they could develop some deep threats for this kid. I mean, he's got the ability to put the ball down the field, and he makes a lot of stuff happen with his legs. So he was actually recruited by Jimbo Fisher at Florida State, and when Jimbo left, that's when he went up to North Carolina. So I know this kid well. I read a lot of stuff on his recruiting. Good player, but Temple, I think Temple has a more balanced defense. Offensively speaking, they can score points also, but I just think in this game, I think Temple, even though I think the number is sitting at 6, I would lean with Temple in this particular game too. Temple, I think the game opened at 4.5. It's climbed up, so I'm going to go contrarian here, even though the money's coming in on the Carolina side. I like Temple in this spot here. I mean, the only thing that kind of saved the Carolina is that early in the season they did take care of the ball a lot better, but they're prone to give the ball away. So in any instance, whether it be Carolina or whoever's playing, if you give up the ball, you're going to come out on the short end. So that's the look I got on that game. What about you guys in the chat? Do you guys have any questions on any games? Put the questions in chat. We'll be more than happy to answer them. And then how about the games coming up this weekend? I see Wham's fixing to pop in. Come on in, Wham. I see you back there.
What's good? Hey, Big Ragu. I thought you was in the other one. I was like, I said that. I'm like, damn. I thought you was in that one because it was open. And all right, cool. And now we on here. Yeah, he was already breaking down the Temple game. And DJ Big Boss is in the chat. He should be hopping in. So I came in here to just say you guys have been doing a great job. Definitely are my mentors, my big bros. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you guys do for me, I appreciate it. And I had to come through. He said y'all needed a little slight bit of wham in your life. I'm in this motherfucker.
Hey, I was laughing, man, because I was trying to figure it out. I'm looking at my phone. I see, what's Wham doing on the other channel, man? I said, I must have clicked something wrong. I knew it. I knew I'd screw it up sooner or later. That's why I called Boss. I said, Boss, what do I got to do to get this thing going? He said, just hit enter, just go live. I said, okay, I can do that.
Hey, it's all good, man. It just let everybody know that we real people. We make mistakes. Big Ragu's over there crushing them, and still we end up in the wrong places. But we rocking and rolling now. We back in this piece right here. My man Big Ragu, he jumped out with an early start with that under today. He jumped on that Eastern Michigan, which is looking nice right now.
17-10.
In case y'all ain't been paying attention.
Yeah,
it's Big Ragu time of year. He's a big gift giver. So the gifts that keeps on giving back.
Well, let me tell you something. These early bowl games, they can be a little bit tricky, and we know that going in. The first week, a lot of crazy stuff going on. And our boy Prince says F the bowl games, which I tend to agree with you at sometimes. Sometimes they get aggravated, but you know what they are? You just never know what team's going to show up on the field, when it comes to these bowl games, because you could take everything that went on during the regular season and you could toss it out the window. Now, for capping purposes, we got to use the stats and, the style of plays. But sometimes, you don't know what's on the coach's mind when they step on the field with these kids. And like today, like I was telling these guys early my first thing was I was telling these guys when we did the Miami video, the La Tech Miami, I know Boss was, he knows a lot about Skip Holtz, and we did talk about the weaker schedule and whatnot, but heck, the team's 5-0 in bowl games, and especially when, Miami lost their OC before the start of the game, something had to happen in the locker room where there's differences in the philosophies and whatnot. So that tells me there's a lot of dissension on the team. Guess what? Time to flip the switch and go the other way.
Yeah, but bowl games are all about preparation, and Skip Hope's great preparation, man, just like his father. So that was a good one right there, man. I don't know what I was thinking this morning. I just I had already jumped on the over in that game, so I was on the over in that game for some stupid reason. Then after that, I go to Twitter and I see all the info that Big Ragu sharing with everybody to see, and I missed it all. But I was already on the other side, but I only took a fourth the unit. It's one of those early games. I'm just playing it just to be busy. But I should have stuck with my first mind and stayed with La Tech. But I just thought that and this is one of the dynamics I've seen in some of the earlier bowl names, is that when you face teams that, we all know Miami has a struggle on offense. And when they go up against an opposing defense that gives them a little leeway, maybe like we've seen in the San Diego State game, they're not really used to them. They go up against a little softer defense, and all of a sudden they got a little offense. You know what I mean? So I had expected Miami to have a little offense today, but that breaking news, as I was reading it, I was just going, womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, it showed out, too. I mean, when the kid, Martell, I think his name was, he's a West Coast kid, too. I think he took 2 snaps in that game when we were down in Miami, when we first kicked off the season. That's all the offense he played all season. So whatever Diaz's philosophy was, that he's just trying to show the university that, hey, he's willing to, step above and beyond, even though if they get rid of their OC, he's going to see what this kid could do possibly for next year for the new guy coming in.
And I don't know. I think it was you, Big Ragu, who talked about Lavarius Sneed the defensive end over there, and that guy's a stud, man. He was playing all over the place. Like real. Was that you, Big Ragu, talking about Lavarius Sneed?
No, it wasn't me.
It was
No.
another player that you was talking about that was you thought was the best college football defensive end right now.
Oh yeah. You talking about up at Western Kentucky? That's the kid. I can't put the name on him. Outside of Chase Young, the kid that plays for Western Kentucky. He's gonna. That game's coming up too this week, I believe.
So that's a funny game there. I'm glad you brought that up because I'm looking at the line. It opened up at Pick'em. It's 63% of the bets or the tickets are going on Western Michigan. They play Western Michigan, Western Kentucky, and the line is moving towards Western Kentucky. Like my man Big Ragu said, y'all better listen up, man. This is Ragu time, bro. We just warming up the sauce right now. We warming it up. It ain't even hot yet.
That's going to be a good. Noli knows would probably like that game because that game's got under written all over it in my book.
That's right. And I see tonight's game is getting close on the under there, 16-17 Eastern Michigan plus the 13 points with Eastern Michigan goes. So we sitting in the driver's seat right there, huh, Big Ragu?
Right.
Well, I tell you what, they've been firing off points left and right. It's kind of getting me a little nervous on the total right now. But
couple minutes,
the last few minutes. But Eastern Michigan got off to a 10-0. Pitt started off real slow. Now they're starting to open up the offenses a little bit. So Eastern Michigan looks good though with the points right now.
That's right. So you spoke a little bit about Temple in North Carolina. You on Temple on that one, right? Yeah,
I'm a little contrarian here because just because of the way, like I said, we started out North Carolina started out as everybody thought they were the hot team coming up with Mac Brown his first year back and the kid Sam Howell, where I talked about him a little bit. So, and they kind of rallied early and then they kind of faded middle to late. But now they're Temple has been one of those teams that's kind of been in and out like Pitt. They didn't have as many wins as Pitt did this year, but a lot of those kids in the same region, they play the same style of football. And I just like Temple's defense a little bit better in this one here. And I think offensively, they can go tit for tat with North Carolina here in this spot. So I like the points, even though I don't know if it's sharp money, but I know the line's up from like 4.5 to 6.
Right.
I kind of lean to take the points here. I'll take the 6 points with Temple.
Well, when I see line movements like this, Big Ragu, it's that 6 at some places, but there are sharp books like Bookmaker who's they're normally taking like sharp action. They're at 5.5. So how it is when you're a big oil money bettor, you want to see the line that you want. So you bet money on one side, go back and take it on the other. That's what it looks like in this spot to me. But I don't know. I'm not gonna act like I do know. But after Big Ragu broke that down, that's what the line shows me.
That's what's up. Like I like Temple as all, but the coach over there at North Carolina, I forget his name.
Mac Brown.
Mac Brown. Yeah, the players do kind of rally to that guy. So here you go, bowl game. He's taking them out for a little treat, a little fun. Players could rally behind them. So I'm kind of scared of that game. I kind of going more towards the total with the under in that one. But I don't know if he rallies his troop, they can score. But we'll see, man. This is not one of my favorite bowl games, though.
Same thing happened with Temple's coach. He doesn't have the notoriety that Mac Brown has, but don't forget, like Manny Diaz, he was Temple's coach for about a couple hours, and then they had to go get somebody in to coach that Temple team.
Yeah.
And the guy that's from that area, he's coaching Baylor, Matt Rule. He's a good coach. That's another game, a little segue action there for that Baylor Georgia game, but that's going to be later on too. But yeah, Temple, like I said, they got good athletes up in that area. Like our guy Prince, he's from that way, and I don't know, he doesn't like any teams. He says fade all teams from Philly, all of them. Don't matter who they are.
Hey, he's been doing pretty well doing that too. But none of these games on Friday card really tempt me other than the USC Iowa game. And I don't know, these bowl games are weird because they sit up here and they hang up here for so long. You have so many cappers started, piling in information and tips and different views and stuff. And it almost had me call off a few plays, but I really liked Iowa on this matchup with USC. on a Friday night away from home.
And what
looks like a
happened?
good spot. Now I'm
Okay.
hearing people on the USC side, and it's only a few points in between them, and it's starting to make a case for USC. But this Iowa team, I just know for in the history of Iowa, they just come through and they're like the golden turtle or something. They just come through and just slowly just chip away at people and knock them down in big games like this.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, Kurt Ferentz has been there forever. What's the kid's name? Nate Stanley. They run more like a pro style type offense. They're always in the 20s. Their games are like, they don't really blow out a whole lot of people in the upper competition. Like you say, they just keep coming, crawling across the screen at you. They keep knocking opponents down. They play good defense. They run a methodical offense. They run a pro set offense. Two tailbacks they run 11 scheme, 12 scheme. So they're well coached. They don't have the most talented guys. Let's say a lot of 5 stars, but they got a lot of good 3 stars, 4-star players.
That's a good one right there. Now I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Y'all go ahead. I got a website, a capping website I want to share with everybody. During these bowl games, this one's a pretty good. It's a pretty good site to get information as far as the history of the bowls. It's like, and how well some teams do in bowl. Because in college football, sometimes it just come down to some teams are tuned in to bowl games and some teams are not. So this website I'm gonna bring up in a minute will show them that. But go ahead, Wham.
Man, I was just gonna let y'all know, man, just in case y'all wasn't on the last show, I'm on the first half under on Utah Portland game. I'm on 113.5. I seen it at a few spots. It's going down. It's going down to 113 at other places. So you might want to jump on that if you like what I was saying earlier. Basically, the last game for Utah went under, and they was able to control the tempo of the game that they did go over. Two out of the last 3 games went over under. The game that they did go over is because they're going against a high power 3-point shooting team. They had to keep up. So in this case, I think a slow pace, blocking fest that Whiteside has, Gobert has. It only makes sense for this under the cash. So I'm on 113.5 under. Y'all can book that one right there. And it's a Boston Assault special, man. I gotta come on y'all show and drop one play, go 1-0, go off in the sunset, end my year off with positive units. Let's go, Boston the Sauce.
There you go. You heard it right here on Boston the Sauce. Our guy Wham Talk dropping NBA knowledge on the Boston the Sauce show. Now let me get over to this website. Wrong button.
What time's that game go off, Wham?
It comes on at 7:30, so we got a little time. 7:30 my time, so it's 10:30 y'all time.
Okay.
10:30 Eastern time.
All right.
So you got a little time. We got a little time, and but look at the line. Make your own assessments. You know what I'm saying? My last 4 Wham Talks, they haven't been negative. They have been, we've been pretty much in the middle. We've been splitting our plays. So this time, what I'm saying? Next week, I'm gonna do 3 plays like I usually do. And we're going to go positive on that shit. I can almost guarantee it. So let's go ahead and get that money. My man, DJ Big Boss, he got the stuff pulled up here. It looks like this is a bowl record for all these schools.
Yeah, you can look up different school by school. You can go through and see how well they do against certain conferences, the head-to-head matchup between certain schools. And this is called McCube.net. That's MCUBED.net. And this is one that I use this one often, man. This is especially around the bowl time. So next bowl game we had on there was Michigan State. I'm gonna just take a quick little thing. Michigan State versus Wake Forest, right? So Michigan State, where did they go? Michigan State.
And why are you bringing that up? Why are you bringing? Oh, go ahead, boss. My fault.
So it's asking here which it lets you pick which one you want to go for, and then it picks which opponent. So they're playing Wake Forest. They don't have Wake Forest on here. So I like to do team versus conference because some teams just don't do well versus certain conferences and stuff.
Right.
So Big Ten right here with Michigan State. They pretty solid in bowl games.
Well,
So
I have a question. I got a question because I want to segue this until you got. I'm not on you guys' show as much, and I was talking to you off camera about that Utah game. I'm a big Pac-12 guy, so that Utah game against Texas, and we talked about Kyle Whittingham. He's pretty much 11-2 in bowl games. He has the highest as active. Well, actually, not even active coaches because he has a better bowl record than Urban Meyer, who's right number 2 under him. He has the best bowl record in any college game. And Boss said it. Hey, that might be just because of the bowl games that they play in Utah. They don't really get that far off. I want to say one of those bowl games that he won was in Rose Bowl. So I think I got a lot of. I think this is a good spot for him. We know everybody gonna probably want to go ahead and jump on Texas because he's an underdog at +7. The line looks like it's moving towards my way in Utah, but let's see what they do against the Big 12 as far as the Pac-12. What would you say, boss? The Pac-12.
I'm pulling it up right now. So that's the Utah versus the Big 12, right?
Right. Versus Texas against Tom Herman.
So right here it says that Utah is 9-23-1 against Big 12 teams. Utah is 18.8 versus Big 12. On the average score, they score 18.8 versus Big 12 schools who scored 28.7 versus them. Utah is 1-0 against Big 12. Average score, Utah 30, Big 12 14. So it looks like Utah played, let's see here. So it goes by decade, the winning percentage, and then somewhere down here it goes the actual bowl games. Here we go. So 2007, they played West Virginia. 2017, they played West Virginia, and they won 30-14. 2010, they played Iowa State. They won 68-27. 2004, they played Texas A&M, and they won 41-21. So
that's a good look. That's a good look with the Utah, Western Michigan, Virginia. Go ahead, Big Rugby.
I see a bunch of W's and 1 L, like more recent on there, like last 7. I think I see 6-1 in the bowls, if I read that correctly.
You absolutely do. No, it looks like 5-1 in the last. Okay. Yeah, 5-1.
Yeah, what I like to do is when I'm looking at the bowls, not necessarily just the bowl games, but any type of recency, type of handicapping with the current coaches in place. I like that look a lot. So he's been there 12, 13 years over at Utah. Or something. No, he wasn't. How long is Urban Meyer? Urban Meyer's been gone a while, but anyways, yeah, he's been there. When Urban left, he took over. So yeah, you say 12 years, 12. But his last 6 years, he's 6-1. I think they're going to be mad. They're going to be a little more motivated in this particular game versus their competitor. I like Utah also on that game.
So our guy Paco Healy, he's going against us. He says Utah just was in the hunt for the Final Four. Big part of my handicap, Texas money line.
Yeah. Wow, Paco, that's saying that speaks volume, Paco. Because it's like low key amongst a lot of cappers. Utah is the favorite team of a lot of respected cappers,
right?
And I wasn't believing in this Utah team that much at the beginning, but after watching them play a few times, they really are real on defense. They're not like flashy, but they're just really good on the field. But this Texas team, I've seen this Texas team struggle a whole bunch of times, man. So I don't know.
I was gonna say the Texas LSU game happened this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we seen Joe Burrow bust their ass, right? Am I correct?
At Texas.
Right. So
Texas.
I seen a stat that out of the top 4 quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, Chase Daniels, Chase Daniels
Daniels from Arizona State.
Yeah, from not from Arizona State. I'm sorry. The guy from Ohio State, the quarterback there.
Oh, Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. I was thinking about the Chase Young. I got him mixed up with Chase Young.
Yeah.
But him and there was it was Tyler Huntley. They're all in a top 3 or top 4, in passing percentage in this in the nation right now. So if they could get some balls off, throw some balls, get Shaq Moss, I'm sorry, Moss, the running back, involved a lot in this game. I think they actually got a good shot of, putting up some big numbers and probably mimicking that 2016 bowl game against West Virginia that we was pulled up just now. So it might look a little bit similar to that, but I like what you're saying, Paco, because they probably are deflated. But we're fading Miami today because their coach is leaving. This coach is staying. So
listen, on the Texas side, just for your information, fired his offensive coordinator, fired his defensive coordinator. He just brought Chris Ash in, not coaching in the bowl game, and now he's going to go out and find he fired Todd Orlando mid part of the year. I mean, he was like So what I'm saying is this: all these little things that are not little things, all these big changes that Texas is going through. Tom is going to be on the hot seat, so he had to fire this guy, fire that guy,
right.
and there's nobody left to fire but himself after if you don't straighten it out. But he did get some. They had some injury issues on both sides, and Ellinger is a gamer, so I respect his game a lot. He's like a Tebow-esque type player, but you got to have the weapons, you got to have the blocking, you got to have the defense. So they're missing a lot of pieces. Now they're missing the coaches on top of that. I say pass. I say take the other side or go home.
Yeah, and then like we spoke on the other show too, Big Ragu, that a lot of people talk about them winning as a dog, and this year they 6-6 ATS.
Yeah.
Sometimes trends are great when they're working, they're great, but sometimes a trend gets old, a lot, just like a line gets stale and all that other stuff. Even with capping like I was just showing on the McCube. I mean, how far can you go back in the history of a team in the bowl game that's going to relate to the actual game that's playing right now? Now, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe you still got some kids hanging around. But 10 years ago, those kids don't know those other kids at all.
Right.
Did you guys see the Heisman Award thing where they brought out all the Heisman candidates that won that they could before? And it was funny because some guys were so welcoming to the new guys, and some guys was like, whatever.
Yeah. Some guys are probably like saying, it's a fraternity, so to speak, but certain guys want to be there, and other guys like, hey, I gave up my weekend to come to New York to hang out with you guys, and I really don't want to be here. I really don't want to be here with you, but you're my brother, so I'm here for you, and then good luck to you in the future.
You can read that on their faces. You can read that on their faces. And I'm sure some of them, because we talk about it all the time about how much we hate modern day football and instant replay and all that stuff. So I'm sure some of those old school guys over there like, oh, y'all ain't got it tough. Y'all can't hit nobody. Like, y'all weak.
Yeah. See, back in my day.
In my day, you could just knock your chin off.
Right. You got a foot up your ass and a fist in the face when we were playing football. Yeah.
Hey, I don't think nobody missing a tooth from playing football in years.
man, for real.
If you go look at some of them
pacifiers, they keep in their mouth.
Hey, if you go look at the steel curtain defense and some of those that old 80s Raiders line, them players, they were playing with missing teeth, all kinds
old school Jets defense. Yeah, old school Jets defense. Yeah,
broken bones, everything. Yep, crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I see my man Paco Healy, man. He said Texas hung 35 points themselves in that game. They were just slinging the ball, man. You know how Big 12 does. I think you could possibly rely on the over because I think they're gonna have to score in this game, Utah, to keep up. I mean, to put some type of pressure on this team. But I don't really jump on the bold totals just in case. You know what I mean? Blindly, because I'm going in blind talking about it right now. I don't jump in it usually. You know what I'm saying? Unless boss, Ragu, they make it official, then we don't blow that whistle. We're gonna make that play. But in this case, man, I definitely appreciate you guys for having me. What happened to Boss? What happened to you again, boss? We did this show, Ragu, with Jay Money on Christmas Eve. Boss is coming in there. He's about to give out his play. He got
he got
Pelicans.
Body snatched. Somebody snatched him out of his chair.
He had a hitter though. He had a hitter, man. He had the Pelicans 9.5. We talked about it the day before. He was about to give it out. Then he went black dark like this, man. So we had to boot his ass out like that. You know what I'm saying? we had to boot him out, bro. But Hey man, oh he back on. We back in now. Oh, what's up, boss?
Oh man, y'all trying to kick me out the show, man. It's all
Oh
good. It's
boy.
all good. It's all about balance and options. We do these shows consistently for a long time, and life gets in the way of everything. So sometimes you might have to answer the door for the next door neighbor.
Right, guarantee. Knock, knock. I'm in here. Open the door.
Right. Open up. Open up.
Man, I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys for having me on, though, man. It looked like Big Ragu is on
Hey,
to
this is your
another one.
house too, man. You don't have to be a stranger. You come in anytime. The door's
I
always
appreciate
open.
y'all. I got the heater on blast. I had the shivers and shit.
See?
Now, now I got back. I feel like I just took a drug, and now I'm like all at ease. I made a bed. I'm feeling good. The juices is flowing. We talking about these games, man. Ragu, I hope I can make it this weekend, man. I'm definitely trying to make it this weekend. I'm gonna just leave it at that. But you know how it is,
Oh
boss. Man,
no,
this shit is.
yeah, this weekend for Vegas is all good, but we got some other Vegas trips coming around
We got
soon
more.
too. So
Yeah,
it's all
we got a
good.
lot of them coming through. We too close. We too close, man. I'm telling y'all, I could pay. I don't even gotta take my car. I could pay like $10, $15, man. Get on the bus, take a flight back, man. It's nothing, man. We could take the bus
Absolutely.
up there, go up there cheap, come back in style, first class and shit.
Right.
There you
That's it.
go.
When you get there, we'll put the money in your pockets, and then you can do whatever you want on the way home.
Exactly.
Guarantee,
Exactly.
guarantee,
That's the fun thing. But
guarantee.
these Friday games, like I said, that's all I really like in these Friday games. But these Saturday games, boy, I love this Saturday lineup that we got coming. Starting with Memphis and Penn State. I've been looking. I know, and I seen what happened to Big Ragu today. A lot of the people don't understand. We do a lot of these shows weeks in advance, all kinds of stuff. And the guy was like, "Oh no, you went the other way on me, Big Ragu." I was like, "Oh man, it happens." But as you sit with a bet longer and longer, it's totally natural for you to look at things different over time. You know what I'm saying? And I was studying this Memphis game again today, and got to take Penn State, man. Penn State, it's pretty tough. This Memphis team, they just standing behind a strong offense right here. And this Penn State team, they had to play some defensive games with some tough teams. I think Penn State might roll them up. Penn State's one of those schools that don't mind beating you 50-6. They'll keep the starters in and all that stuff. So I don't know. I find a lot of love.
Franklin likes to run it up. He likes to run it up. Franklin does. I mean, he's not going to get no style points here, but like a springboard game for next year for sure. That's what they do. So yeah, I like Penn State in this spot too. Definitely. I just like with the coach leaving town. I mean, that coach leaving town shit didn't work for me in the FAU game. That's for sure. With SMU, because SMU, they got their ass handed to them by
Right.
FAU. That was unbelievable what they did there. Half the team was suspended. No coach. I mean, and they went out.
Right.
And that was just the thing. That was the players rallying amongst each other, and the other team, just say, hey, okay, we're glad to be here, but we want to get back to Texas as soon as we can.
Man.
Now the other game that's coming on at 9:00 on Saturday is a team I known and love forever, which is Notre Dame versus this Iowa State team. Now I went a little deeper diving into this game. I haven't really seen nothing from Book himself because it's all gonna lie in Book's hand. But Kelly's without his play caller. He's gonna be putting Tommy Reese in there, ex Notre Dame player to call the plays, quarterback. That all goes in.
What
together.
happened there?
What's his name? Chip Long. Chip Long got another job. Yeah, he's out of there.
Oh yeah,
so
good.
he promoted up, and now we don't have an offensive coordinator. But hey, I don't think that's a big deal because for a long time Kelly called the plays himself. If he gets frustrated at times, he'll call some plays and all that kind of stuff. So I don't really think it's a big deal. It's just something to throw out there in the media. Fact of the matter is, Iowa State has never played this team. I don't even think I've ever played a team similar to this in a bowl game. And Notre Dame has did really well playing against Big 12 teams. So I'm liking Notre Dame even more right here. I think the line is set low because, for one, a lot of people hate Notre Dame. And we're not in we already at where we at right here. For two, we do have a pretty bad bowl record with Kelly, but you got to figure that, you know, when you play in the bowl playoffs, you play 2 bowl games that year. So, and you know, you win one, you lose one. So that contributes to the overall thing because 2 games were played in 1 year. But for the most part, the bowl games that we lost were against big time opponents, you know, Alabama's, the LSU's, the Clemson's, and here we are. We finally get a little breather with a team like Iowa State, and I think Brian Kelly's going to go in there and tear them up. If we can get anything like the book that we had the last 4 games of the season,
he's been on fire, man.
We'll blade right through this team because they don't really have much of an answer for us on their defense. And our defense, that was another key information I got. We getting our Talavoa, our safety. We getting him back for the bowl game. That guy is a stud, especially at tackling. So shouldn't nothing get over his head. All the games should be played in front of him. So because I was leaning on the over in this one because Notre Dame, you know, they've lit up the scoreboard plenty of times since bowl games. You know, good time to try to let up the score for it. And even though Iowa State has a really fast defense, we got them in height, you know, with Claypool. We got tight ends going across here and there. I think it's going to be overwhelming in 4 quarters for that one. So I was leaning towards the over as well. But after reading the team information, I think I'm going to go with the under because since we have the whole situation with the quarterback and the play calling, they're looking forward to developing the run game against Iowa State. And it's there. Iowa State doesn't really cover the run that well. If we can get the run game going, everything else will be beautiful. So they're tuning in to run the ball early. So that could cause maybe first half under full game motor. But that's where I'm at with this one.
Yeah, first half under sounds nice. I like that. You know, a lot of times I remember, you know, just handicapping different games and different setups, like, you know, like Florida State, the first halves, you know, certain teams, first half unders, whatnot. Like if you know going into the start of the game that they're going to run X number of plays, you know, with the run in mind, you know, and then the other team plays a little bit of a solid defense, your team's playing some schemes, you know, to shut them down, so to speak. So if the numbers warrant, then, you know, jump on it. You know, that's what you got to do. And that's what you call handicapping. You know, that's you're looking into the not looking into a crystal ball, but you're looking into a game plan. And if both teams kind of have their way, it's going to be a battle in the trenches early, you know, that, like you said.
Yeah, and I don't think Iowa State is ready to bang with us in the trenches. And that was a big part of Notre Dame stepping up those last 4 games, is that the offensive line started protecting a little better for Book, which gave him more opportunity to run and actually throw the ball, because the guy can throw the ball really well. And one of the major factors too with Iowa State is they run that 3-man front and they won't come off of it, and they don't blitz well out of it. Teams that can run pressure. Yeah, if you run in the 3-3-5 or 3-5-3, you have to be able to, when you call that blitz play, if you see them do it all the time on 3rd and long, they'll bring everybody in that 3-3-5, and it's, you know, pressure bust a pipe, and they try to get to the quarterback before he can throw the ball off. And I don't see this 3-3-5 working for them at all. It's going to give Book way too much time. You know, Kelly, you know, he's timing and all that kind of stuff. He can pick this guy apart. Even if we go down in first half, I got plenty of faith in Kelly pulling out the victory on the other end. So I'm big time on Notre Dame this weekend. Now let's talk about the next game.
Hey, why you say that? I just wanted to chime in a little bit. You talked about the battle up front. We got to see the center, Jared Patterson, go against Ray Lima. He's going to be a part of that 3-man front that Iowa State is going to try to bring in. I think Jared Patterson actually gets the edge. And then we look at the wide receiver matchup against Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool going against 2 of the pretty much premier cornerbacks for Iowa State, Anthony Johnson and De'Tron Young. You're going to see, I think, one of those guys try to go get, possibly try to become one of those undrafted free agent football players. This is the time where everybody trying to make their money early, you know, to get a little preset. So I look at Jared Patterson, the center for Notre Dame, to do some work, and I'm looking for Chase Claypool to get some balls because in book is gonna have some time, like my man Boss said.
Yeah, it's gonna happen this weekend. Now let's get into some interesting game right here. This is a big one right here. Oklahoma LSU. Now, I'm on the Oklahoma side of here. I guess I'm hoping that the sun shines on the dog ass with Jalen Hurts over here. I think he's been focused. You know, he talked a lot about after winning the championship over there. He talked a lot about being accepted into their program, and they showed a lot of stuff with him in the weight room, and so he's became quite the leader on the team that he came from the other side on this one, and he's playing a team right here that he's familiar with in LSU, and I just think it's way too many points in the game like this, but. Many LSU backers saying LSU just gonna blow through these, and I sat down and watched a few LSU games, and I don't see it's like a slow beating, that they put on some of these teams. It doesn't look all fancy or flashy or nothing. It just happens. And it has a lot to do with Burrow's ball placement. He's a great passer. A guy who's probably going to be #1 pick just because he has a skill set and he can put the ball where it needs to be. But I don't think he hasn't really had the test, somebody all up on him. He hasn't been chastised, shall I say, back there. And in this game right here, Big Ragu talked about it weeks ago. This Oklahoma team defense is underrated, and they can play ball at times. And I've seen some lower class teams try to bang it out with LSU in the first half, but they can't make it 4 quarters with that team. They're just too deep right there. But I'm liking Oklahoma plus the points right there. What you got in that, Wham?
Man, this line is going crazy, bro. It's opened up at 12.5. Got all the way up to as much as 14, sitting at 13.5 at U-Wager. I like LSU in the spot originally, but after you guys break it down, this is one of those games I was gonna sit back and watch the squad work because I'm looking at this game as possibly being one of those things that I should have probably paid a little bit more attention to Oklahoma. I didn't know too much about their defense, like Big Ragu pointed out. Definitely take my man word for it. I think you possibly could get a undervalued spot here. And that's probably the reason why the line is doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about LSU, and we talked about this many a time. Not too many people has been able to slow them down in a sense, just to kind of keep the points off the board because they have the top scoring, one of the top scoring offense, depending on which week you look at them. But and then Oklahoma, same thing for them. When they're running, but LSU's defense. They've been giving up the points. They've done it several times, at least three, 4 times where, with the Gators in Texas and a couple other teams that they've kind of let them, I wouldn't say sneak in the back door, but they've been pretty close to getting that number. Now with this type of game here, I just think all Oklahoma has to do is basically, take care of the football. And I think they can stay within the number because the last few games, with the Baylor games, Hurts has kind of hurt himself and the team, fumbling the ball away. They probably won both of those games by margin if he took care of the football, But I think if he takes care of the football, they're a good team to, come in with the number. I don't think they're going to beat them by 2 scores. I think it'd be a 1-score game if Oklahoma takes care of football. They don't turn it over, 2, 3, 4 times in the game. If they come out on the plus side of the turnover margin, they'll definitely be in the money. I don't know if they'll win the game, but they should cover the number here.
Well,
so
go ahead.
I was gonna say it looks like the sharp books, like we were saying, by Bookmaker, they opened this line up at 11.5. That shit immediately shot up to 12 or 13. Got teeter-tottered back down to 13.5. Back down to 12. Back down to 12.5. So I think Oklahoma definitely shows that they have value in this line movement because, like we said, somebody wants to have a certain number. Once it got to 14 points, to 14 points at certain books, immediately dropped down back to 13.5.
You know how they manipulate the lines with the overnights too, especially because they're so thinly traded, and that a lot of those smaller bets kind of tick them up, and then when they get it, like you said, where they want it, then they go in there and smash it the other way with more money. So they're just shoving money back and forth.
Another angle I wanted to mention about that game too is because I was watching that Baylor Oklahoma game, really really tough, and I had a great read on that just from watching the film for the game prior to that, and that was that the defensive players on Baylor, they could close the gap real fast on Jalen Hurts. You know, when he tries to take off and run, because you got to say, you know, he eats on his run. You know, he's a big guy. He can run over some people, but they started once he took off, they can close the gap so fast on them, and they were hitting them hard too. They made them have a bad day, and the way they overcame it was in the second half. They stopped running them like that, made him sit back and throw the ball some more. So I think we're also getting a bad line too, because they're looking at the last game against Baylor for Jalen Hurts. He didn't really play that well overall, although they did win the game. But I think that might be a reason why we sitting with so many touchdowns. And that's definitely not going to be the case against LSU, because LSU, they have covered defensive players that, you know, their size and speeded to cover wide receivers and all that kind of stuff. This big guy coming out the backfield, running downhill at them, you know, it could smell trouble for them. So I'm going to lean in the side of that, you know, volatility right there, and hope Jalen Hurts have a good day. But so the winner of that game goes to the national championship, and they'll be playing against the winner of this next game. Before we go deep into the winner of this next game, are we saying that LSU, because they're probably going to win this game, is going to be a shoo-in after this, being that they may face Clemson or they may face Ohio State? Or do we say that the winner of the Ohio State and Clemson game is going to be the winner of the national championship?
Yeah, I think that I think whoever wins the Ohio State Clemson game is going to win. Not only because I'm not going to say they're better teams, but just past history, the guy that wins the Heisman, it's usually stacked against them for some reason. You ever seen that stat? It's been unlucky for their team to win the Heisman, but I think the best team is on the other side of that game, on the other game. But we'll get into it when we start talking about it.
I wanted to ask you guys a question, because I'm not sure too much about the personnel on either of these four teams. But as far as the running back situation, who has the best running back out of these four groups? I know we wouldn't say Oklahoma.
Dobbins, hands down. Dobbins has that.
I say Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
I like Dobbins.
He played for Ohio State.
Dobbins is
Ohio State. Okay. Travis Etienne is for
Clemson.
Yeah. Okay. So I definitely would lean that way, like Big Ragu, because you know how it is. They're going to try to take in the championship game. You know how it is. They try to take away the deep ball, make you ground and pound. Time of possession is how we want to do this game. We're coming in here very conservative. That's how I think that the championship game is possibly going to go. But we fucking never know. Oklahoma pulls off an upset, slings this shit, and never know. They could be the dark horse in this shit. Jalen Hurts get his, it has everybody double thinking about that number one overall pick. You know, who fucking knows, man? Who fucking knows?
Well, let's take a dive in this last game. We coming up on the last few minutes, but so the way I see the game, and I guess I'm gonna have to say my pick is contrarian now, because I mean, if you look at it as a whole, this happens time and time again with teams who they say don't play a tough enough schedule, because not playing a tough enough schedule is a catch-22. Because for one, you're rested. You know, you have to focus in on this one game after you play the whole season. So you got the monkey off your back. You down there. All you have to do is focus on this one game. And you know, Clemson, talent-wise, they have the talent, hands down. They're not the team that they were last year, but they basically have the talent. They have the athletes there. So, and then you're talking about a team that's you know, been in that predicament, and you're getting the greatest line on them that you're getting all year. Like, if you want to talk about buy and sell, I mean, 2 points at the Clemson game. You haven't got this all year. This is a blowout prices, liquidation sale. You know, these guys are getting a wonderful line, and I understand exactly why a lot of cappers is jumping on that line. I mean, even if you were doing stocks, you know, you would take a company that had the most solid portfolio, that, you know, although they may not have made big success in this year as it's been going, they still are that same firm that can blow those numbers up like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though Google might be having a bad year, they're still Google. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Clemson. Even though they may have had a weak schedule and you may say they haven't played anybody, they're still Clemson. But that's how I see one side. Then the other side, I just want to go, which takes me to the contrarian side, is the Heisman presentation. You got 3 guys put on all these funny looking suits to come there, and out of all 3 of them, they all lost to the guy who's going to be hanging around in the next round. I mean, if I would want to play that guy so bad. You know, if you were young, you like, I want to hit this guy. You know, I want to line it up and hit this guy. He got it over me. And if you Dobbins and, you know, if you Fields, you like, hey, I'm better than this guy. You know, I'm going to the pros for this, that, whatever.
Right.
So you really want to see Burrows in this national championship game, but we never get the matchup that we really, really, really want. And that would be the matchup I would want to see. But
we could be lucky and play him first, like Jalen.
Yeah, you know, we don't have no control over who gonna play who first and all that kind of stuff. You know, that's all done with all that stuff. It could be any way, but this may end up the best game of college football season right here, Clemson versus Ohio State. You know, conference wise, talent wise, so many reasons why. But that's what I'm gonna say. I'm on the contrarian side. I'm on the side with the players with the funny suits, and let Big Ragu take it from there.
How about this guy that didn't wear a funny suit, that could have wore a funny suit last year, but he kind of sat out this year because he got off to a real slow start, had some interceptions, but the guy's been playing lights out the last 7 games. Talk about Trevor Lawrence. The kid can ball, he can throw, he can make it happen, he can do it all. And he's got the perfect companion in his backfield, like I said, Etienne. Travis, great running back. They got plenty of weapons on offense. You know, they've been kind of, I'm not saying sneaky under the radar. Their margins of victories have been well into the 30s. Yeah, they played the ACC. Yeah, they played weaker. But, it's just the ACC is not set up like the Big Ten. We know that, because it's a different style of game that they play up there altogether. But when they get into the big games, they're 72-1. And the only team they lost is Alabama, and that nobody else has beat this team in years in the Dabo era. So until they can beat them, and they beat Ohio State 3 times already. So and that's why that's why you've seen the line shift. That's why you've seen some, like you say, you're going to be contrarian. I wouldn't say contrarian because right now, with the notoriety that Ohio State's getting, it's one of those things that's it can go either way, to be honest with you. It just depends on who's going to get off first and who's going to endure. And can these teams come from behind? I don't think Ohio State, I don't think they've been behind all season. So if they get punched in the mouth, who knows how they're going to react to that.
Right.
Yeah. That's a solid point, man.
Is this the first bowl for the coach, too? Is this his first bowl game?
For a day? Well, he just took over the program.
Yeah.
Didn't he take him to the? He coached him in the bowl last year because
okay. Because he left.
Because Meyer was out. Yeah, he was out.
Oh yeah, he sure did. He
took him. I think the last 3 games or something like that. He took him.
He debuted in the bowl game.
Yeah.
But that's it, man. We kind of over a little time right here. I got some things to do tonight. It's all this Christmas stuff is away, so it's big Papa time. So I'm head on out of here, man. But great having you, Wham, in here on the Boss and the Sauce. Even though we in the wrong room or whatever, we put it together and we still had a great time. Gave out some exciting information. It was great, man. Anything y'all want to say to the people?
I mean, I'll just go ahead and just drop that one more time. I'm on the first half. Utah first half 113 and a half. And it's just to give y'all a little look, the last 10 games, the under has been 3-7 for Portland. The under has been 3-6 for the Utah Jazz. So the under is favoring in the first half for both of those teams. I just want to throw that out there. I appreciate you guys. Even though this is our channel, This is all you guys, Gambling Twitter, all everybody's channel here, Who-Bangin Sports. This is the people's channel, like The Rock and shit. I might have to do my eyebrow. I appreciate you guys for having me on the Boss and the Sauce show, though. Yeah, you know what I mean? Wham Talk Wednesdays, y'all know where to find me. Today's Wednesday, and I still made a present. Shout out, you know.
There it is. Appreciate you, my brother.
Oh yeah, all day, bro.
Hey, so I'd like to say happy holidays to everybody. And before we go, don't forget about the Boss and the Sauce NCAA football bowl extravaganza. There's a $300 prize. It's not too late to join the contest. You do have to put up 30 picks, so you're going to have to put some sides and totals all the way out with a chance to win $300. Hop in there. I'm in there. Big Ragu in there. Wham's in there. Many more. I think Paco's in there. So y'all come over there to the Boss and the Sauce NCAA football bowl extravaganza. And if you're looking to move out of state, contact our sponsor who's helping us out here, helping us keep the lights on and all that good stuff. But it's All Pro Moving. They have a code for $500 off. All Pro Nick 1 for watching the Who-Bangin Sports Talk show. And make sure you come join us tomorrow on the Who-Bangin Sports Talk Lounge. And we got our guy David Boston, ex-Ohio State football player. So, we'll talk a little bit more about that. And he's also played on several teams in the NFL, and we're coming into playoff times. I got a few questions for him as far as how players perceive going into the playoffs and all that good stuff. But y'all join us tomorrow on that show.
Hey, make sure y'all get some pics from David Boston, man. I got to go to work and shit. But I appreciate y'all, man. Keep it G. Who-Bangin Sports Talk. We out.
Cash those tickets, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Don Ricci here.